Welcome to my channel, Sheikh Hamdan Faz3. But I was having the time of my life. Rarely went to school, stayed home almost every day. I stayed alone, and she came every day. And each day was festive. By this time had learnt to cook. Was a guy who was a complete Conan the Destroyer at the kitchen. Scared to light a fire, but for her I had learnt to cook. Earned in blood, literally cutting and burning myself. Came up with her favorite Chinese and continental almost every day. She loved it though it was nothing special. Had found a friend, a life and a person next to me in times when the world seemed to alienate me. At the point had given all my entrance exams, but was struggling to crack one with flying colors. I was falling apart. Was blaming myself and my time management issues for my failure. But she did manage to console me. Every time, every moment of distress. She even cracked Symbiosis Puna, but she didn't go. Don't know if she decided that for her homesickness, but knew that the fact that she will be with me here was enough, would ever do. And she kissed me and hugged me, and just those lines echoed in my head. If I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Things were getting intimate by the day and it all seemed normal. The part always hated was going shopping with her and her friends, but the time when rode back with her and she held my hand and rested her head on my chest buffered it golden. The day came and I had cracked the entrance. I was now a student of Calcutta National Medical College. It was a moment of rejoice and elation for my family, but just breathed relief that I will be with her. The opening days of college was similar to the rear end of school and was absent mostly, but my life was flying. One day during the Pujas, the major festival in my part of the world, we were scheduled to go out. But unlike most of the time had known her, she didn't return my calls and texts all day. I went to her place and waited for 2 hours consistently calling her. She didn't receive. Suddenly she texted me that she was going to New Market at the other part of town. I followed. The Puja crowded New Market is a place where you can barely walk, let alone find someone, but stood at a place waiting for her call. The heat was taking a toll. Was cramping out. The crowd was eating me up in chirps of delight while felt abandoned. She never came. She texted me later. She had visited her ex a few days back. He kissed her and she didn't resist. She felt she loved me and she did an unjust thing. She doesn't deserve me and she is leaving me. I said it was but normal for her to behave in such a way to a guy whom she had learned to love since play days. It seemed her conscience was eating her up. That Puja I called her every day, she didn't respond, she didn't return my texts either. Owing to absence didn't make friends at college, had lost my friends from school, and at this point my parents were the only people to talk to and my agenda was not one to share with them. Calcutta in those days of Puja, in lights and mobs and families going out and pointing the city streets red and shrieking at the top of voices to make yourself heard and free from day-to-day stress. But my world was closing in on me. My parents knew something was wrong. We went away on vacation. Kashmir is widely renowned as heaven on earth. It was majestic. For normal people seeking time out from work, it was heaven on earth. For me though things were different. Life had taken a time out for me. Networks didn't work. I had to walk a mile in the army-infested water-clad territory to call her. Many a times she did return a few of my calls, smiling and telling me to enjoy, and that made my days. There I wrote. When the mountains call and the sky shines red. When the river swirls calling this inmate. When the birds chirp in the snow-clad leaves. In the morning dew. I'd still choose you. When the winds are freaking, rain's falling down. Gold is leaking from God's own crown. Water's sparkling in the sneaking streams. And the world seems new. But I'd still choose you. And I'd still love your effulgent light. And I've a reason why. While ebb and tide hits nature's might, our love won't ever go dry. I came back carrying gifts for her. She denied to talk to me initially, let alone accept those gifts. But she did in the end. At her apartment, she hugged me and extinguished a fire that was all around my soul. That was the last time I ever touched or talked to her in person. Days went by and my schedule became calling her for an average 100 times a day. Every day she hardly ever returned my calls, though she did express disgust at my obsession sometimes. One day on the same Facebook I discovered she was seeing her ex again for quite some time. My world, my life, my love had crumbled upon itself. I didn't give up. Continued calling her. My schedule permitted only the scanty night hours, and the first year of medicine can be strenuous. I resorted to cigarettes. 1 to 2 packs. It kept me awake. The rush of dopamine in my head gave me hope against despair. I wanted her to explain why. If not come back. She didn't have an answer. I wanted to see her one last time. It didn't happen. My mother had to get a psych consult. And I landed up on antidepressants. SSRI antidepressants and cigarettes. My life was getting worse. In my moments of weakness I had a few old friends and folks turning back to save my ship, but I had strangers too. Confided in them. In tears, in sweat, in blood and vanity. In my altered conscience I had leaked out intimate secrets of my relationship to people who didn't mean well. This enraged her, estranged her even more. And the last time she called me in tears, she blamed me for maligning her for life and telling me never loved her. I had no fix to my life, had made a few friends in my attendance compensatory regularity during the final days of first-year medicine. Drugs and hallucinogens were my other allies. I had people to talk to by this time. Maybe I always did. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.